I see what you're doing. You just saw my first ever custom water cooling project, and now you're thinking to yourself, I wonder if I can do the same thing. Yes, you can. But first, you need to watch videos like this one to learn about water cooling, how it's done, and learn some tips and tricks so that you can minimize the amount of mistakes that you may make. If you haven't seen my previous video on my custom water cooled project, I would highly recommend you go back and you check that out first, just so that you have a point of reference for some of the items we're about to talk about. I will link that in the description below. Then come back here and watch this video from start to finish so that you have a complete picture of how water cooling actually works. By no means at all do I claim to be a professional or an expert when it comes to water cooling. I've only done one water cooled PC, and I only water cooled my CPU and not my GPU. I'm no Jay's 2 cents or Linus Tech Tips, at least, well, not right now, maybe one day. But I have completed one project, and I did learn a lot from that project, and I want to share that with you. My goal in this video is to get straight to the point and provide you all the tips and tricks to help you save money, save time, and minimize the mistakes that you may make. All right, without any further ado, let's go ahead and hop on into the tips and tricks. So tip number one, you're gonna need a heat gun if you're not doing soft tubing. We'll talk more about tubing here in a minute, but assuming you're going hardline or rigid tubing, you're going to need a heat gun in order to bend the tubing. Now, the biggest thing that I can recommend is to buy a gun that can stand up on its own. I didn't buy a gun at all because my wife has a co-worker who had previously completed a water cooling project, and he was kind enough to let me borrow his heat gun. However, what I didn't know was that the heat gun could not stand up on its own. So I tried to take the heat gun and prop it up against different items, but this proved to be far too challenging and it just wasn't efficient enough. So thankfully, I had a buddy come over and help me out with a water cooling project. He does a lot of custom PCs, and he wanted to be part of the project because he had never done water cooling before. But whether you're doing a water cooling project by yourself or with a friend, I would highly recommend buying a heat gun that can stand up on its own. It will definitely come in handy. Tip number two is to do it with someone. No, I don't mean do it like that. I mean, do the water cooling project with a friend. Do you absolutely need another person in order to complete a water cooling project? No, absolutely not. But it will make the process so much easier and it will go by so much faster. Again, going back to tip one, I didn't have a heat gun that could stand up on its own. So having an extra set of hands really helped me when it came time to heating up the tubes and rotating it all at the same time. Tip number three comes down to planning your loop. This is already important, but it's even more important if you're doing this project by yourself. Basically, you want to have a plan for your loop that is essentially your ideal loop, what you want it to be without any compromises. And then you want a secondary plan that basically includes some compromises. So for example, in my build, I was able to do everything that I wanted to do, but I had to make a big compromise. I could not naturally pull off two 90-degree bends back to back to get me out of my pump res combo and into my CPU water cooling block. So ultimately, what I had to do was to use a 90-degree fitting to get me past my second 90-degree bend and go straight into my CPU water cooling block. So in summary, all I can say is plan, plan, plan. Tip number four, we're talking about the tools that you need, and I'm gonna start with this. Buy extra of everything and return what you don't use. I only had a plan A for my ideal situation, so I bought just enough fittings. And of course, we get in there and we could not pull off that double 90-degree bend from the pump rest combo into the CPU water cooling block. I had to make a trip all the way out to Micro Center just to pick up that 90-degree fitting. Just go ahead and buy extra of all your fittings and all of your tubing. So tip number five, we're talking about tubing, and more specifically, soft tubing versus hard tubing and all the tips and tricks around that. So all I'm gonna say about this is, number one, make your decision on if you're going soft tubing or hard tubing. If you're going soft tubing, then there isn't really much else to talk about. Soft tubing is by far the easiest type of tubing to work with, and it's the cheapest. You simply unpack it, cut it, insert it, and you're done and you're good to go. A lot of people go with hard tubing because it looks better and it doesn't necessarily stain or fog as easily as soft tubing does. But hard tubing is a lot harder to work with, and that's another reason why it's called hard tubing. Now, assuming you go with hard tubing or rigid tubing, this is what you need to know. Number one, you need to buy extra, like I just said previously, because you are going to mess up. You are going to cut it too short, or you're going to mess up a bend. But at the end of the day, you are going to mess up, so make sure you buy more than enough tubing. A lot of people want to know, can you eyeball it? And the simple answer is yes, you can, but this is why it is so important to have extra tubing. A lot of times people think that you have to do all these complicated measurements in order to pull off a really cool water cooling loop. I would take a long piece of tubing and I would hold it up to where I wanted to run the tube, and I would basically grab more than enough, and then I would slowly start chopping it down until it was literally the exact same size. Which brings me into my next point. In order to cut the tubing, you're going to want to have a rotary blade. A lot of of these water cooling kits come with a saw so that you can saw the tubing, but the reality is you're not going to be able to get a clean cut using a saw. So this is where a rotary tool comes in. You basically take the tube, you plug it into the rotary tool, you tighten it, and then you spin, and then you spin, and then you tighten it, and you spin, and you spin, and you rinse repeat until it's a clean cut. From there, you can use something called a reamer or a deburring tool, and you can trim it down a little bit more to make a perfectly smooth, flat surface so that when you're plugging the tube into your fitting, you don't have any openings or any leaks or any cuts or anything like that. Woo, that was a lot. Okay, so talking about tubing, buy extra, make sure you have a rotary blade, make sure you have a reamer or a deburring tool, and yes, you can eyeball the measurements. So tip number 6 is give yourself extra time. Point blank, period. If you think you can do it in 2 days, plan to do it in 4 or 5 or even 6 days. You're going to hit roadblocks. You're going to have things pop up that you did not foresee. I didn't think I was going to have to make a trip out to Micro Center to buy extra fittings. So make sure you give yourself extra time. Tip number 7 is don't be afraid to get creative. After all, this is your PC and you're the one using it and you're the one that's going to be paying for it. By the way, speaking of paying for it, water cooling is incredibly expensive. So make it the way that you want to make it and don't feel pressured to do what everyone else is doing. For example, almost everybody water cools both the CPU and the GPU. So I felt a little bit guilty whenever I was only water cooling my CPU. But as it turns out, a lot of people think that's pretty cool. So in summary, just don't feel pressured to do it the same way everybody else is doing it and be creative. Tip number 8 is my last and final tip. Anything you can think of that you may want to do to your system, do it before your water cooling project or do it while you're water cooling. So for me, I found out that one of my Corsair fans is actually starting to have trouble with some of the RGB. So for whatever reason, whenever I turn it white, in the very far back, there's a slight hint of purple. Luckily, you can't really see it unless you get right up on it. But I do know it's there, and honestly, it kind of bothers me. And so I was getting ready to switch out the fan, and then I realized I couldn't switch out the fan because I couldn't get a screwdriver to the screw because I have a tube in the way that is now filled with water. So I'm kind of stuck with it. Think about your system and anything and everything you may want to do to it before you water cool it. Because once you water cool it, you're not going to want to take it apart just to go back and add in a hard drive or switch out a fan or something like that. Well, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit that like button. It goes a long way in helping me out. I'm going to do one more water cooling video that's going to talk about is water cooling worth it? Should you do it? Why and why not? So be sure to stay tuned for that. And the best way to do that is by hitting that big red subscribe button. And I look forward to seeing you in the comments below. And until next time, E-Rock out. Come on, two more. Let's go. Come on. Oh, no. What kind of spawn was that? He got me in the back. Yes! Double kill for the freaking win. E-Rock coming in clutch. That's how we do it.